Okay, so on to our next guest, who needs little or no introduction, but I'll do it anyway. So this guy is he's a bit of a legend at the football club. He's the goalie coach, he's the physio, he's the quiz master, he's the entertainer, he's the bus driver before it was furloughed. He thrills the ladies by wearing his shorts every game, whatever the weather. But despite all of that, we had to interview him inside a prison today, as you can tell from his background. So he hasn't been let out on good behaviour. But good afternoon, Martin Lash. How are we?
I'm doing very well. I was going to go in the living room and do it, but I've waited that long. The kids want to watch the Christmas telly. They want to put the Christmas tree up. I've got to take the wife shopping after this. I've even put my Walsham top on. I thought this was supposed to be proper.
I did notice you got your top on, and it's every Saturday. I suppose you have the top on.
3 o'clock, flat and short.
Yeah, you're only missing your bobble hat though.
I was going to get that out, but I can't find it actually. I think it's being washed, ready for next Saturday when we go again.
So just quickly, let's talk about. I've stood on the sidelines with you, and I've been freezing cold. And then I look at you, and you always got your shorts on. And why do you do it? Who do you think you should be or looking to entertain by wearing your shorts on a Saturday afternoon?
So the way I look at it, we get a lot of ladies up there, and they pay £7 to come in. And let's be honest, sometimes the football's not great. So for £7, you want to see something that's good, don't you? So that's what I do.
So you think they're pinning their hopes on you and your shorts every Saturday? I like that. I do like that.
It's too tight to buy me a pair of tracksuit bottoms. But that's the real reason.
So you've been involved at the club, Lashy, for a long time now. Just give us a little bit of a background.
So 13, 14 years ago, I never forget it, I went with Steve Forbes round the pub at the Swan and Jeff Patterson. They ran the youth section at the time. Mm-hmm. And we went to our local pub and they bought me, I think it was 4 pints. It's the only time they've ever bought me a drink. I had 4 pints, and about 2 hours later, I walked out of there with a sack of footballs, a first aid kit and some cones, and apparently I was the under-10s manager. So that's basically how it started, because I had 2 lads, and they played at the local primary school, and obviously when they leave there at 10 in them days. So I took over running the under-10s. Then the next year I became chairman of youth and enjoyed that. We started off, when I started, we didn't have any teams actually play at Walsham. So we played at Martin Lash and down at Wattsfield. And I think we had 4 teams. Then we grew the teams over the road, come along. And I think about 3 years later, Chris Stones just taken over as manager. And he asked if I'd come and help out because he heard that I could do a bit of goalkeeping coaching and that. So I helped Chris out. I think Chris lasted about 2 games, unfortunately. And then Smithy came back. But no, and basically I went from goalkeeper coach. I'd done some physio before, and we had a female physio at the time. And for whatever reason, she only lasted a couple of games. I'm not getting involved in that one. And so I took over that role as well. So, and been there ever since.
So we've had a message come up there on the bottom of the screen from Sam Peters. Can Lash sing a song, please?
Can Lashy sing a song? I can sing a bit of a song. I can sing you a bit of Higher Love.
We haven't heard that one before.
You're not?
No.
It's a little Whitney song that I love. But I only know a little bit. I only know the bit. Give me a higher love. Oh, higher love. I'm going to learn the rest. But,
no, please don't. That's fine. That is more than enough. That is more than enough.
Actually, or perhaps on another podcast, me and Hamo can do a duet.
A Christmas song request now from Sam Peters.
All around us, children playing, having fun. It's the season, love and understanding. Merry Christmas, everyone. That's for you, Sam.
Can we, Alfie? Can we block Sam Peters, please? Stop sending these requests. This is killing us.
Carry on, Sam.
Right, let's go to some football stories of the past. You sent me one about a head injury with Tats, which I'm intrigued to know how, because he never headed the ball, couldn't jump.
Well,
So
and
what
that was
actually
the problem.
happened?
That was
That was the problem.
He actually went for a header, missed the ball, and he's actually been hit on the top of his head. So there's where problem one is. So Tats has gone for a header. It was never going to happen. So he's come off because he's got blood injury. He's got a little bit of blood, you know.
Little
Tats
trickle.
is like little trickle. Got a gash on his head, so he's come off. I'm not allowed to stitch it. We're not allowed to stitch, and I'm not going to get any little flaming plastic plasters on there or nothing. So the only thing I can do is try and Terry Butcher him up, but it's on the top of his head. So the only bandage I've got at the time is a strapping, the blue strapping we wear. So I'm trying to strap his head. He wants to get on the pitch. There's a little bit of claret everywhere. It's not stopping, so I've got a Vaseline in. So half a tub of Vaseline, that soon stops the bleeding. Put the bandage on. He goes back on. But as he's running, you can see the bandage is slipping off. So it started off tight and it's slowly moving up. So Tats, believe it or not, has gone for another header.
No.
Okay. No, exactly. Now it's gone pointed because it's really moved up. And he's running about like a little elf on the pitch now, isn't he? And he's swearing a bit as Tats does. So we get in for half time and it's nothing I can do. The trouble is, he's had to go to hospital, obviously, to get it glued or stitched. But they don't take the gunge out of it because they can't wash it, clean it. So, unfortunately, he's been left with half a tub of Vaseline in his hair. But
dear.
He could never head a football.
No, well, having played with him a few years, I can vouch for that. So, as part of your physio's duties as well, was to make sure that the water bottles were also topped up. A few years ago, you sort of went to the other extreme on that, didn't you? What happened?
So every last game of the season, I fill one water bottle up, normally from the bar if we're at home with Stella. So it's just so we can sit on the bench, and obviously you're not allowed to drink alcohol, and I don't encourage people to do this, but it's just me and Nobby will have a drink of beer or whoever. I'm pretty sure it's 20 this game. Last game of the season, got injured in the penalty box. So I've got my bag and I've got the two bottles, one with water, one with beer on. So I've run on the pitch and it's not a bad day. And the ref's asked for a drink. Well, he's picked the one up with beer in.
No.
So I'm like, ref, you can't. I can have that back because it's got special supplements in, I told him, for the players. So I've given him the water, and I'm pretty sure it's 20. So 20's picked the bottle up. He's injured. He's squirted it on his face, and he's taking a swig, and it's Stella. He's like, what the f is this? I'm like, and then spraying it on his ankle. So he's thinking of Stella. And it was supposed to be actually, I believe, for Trev Newman, I think, who started it. When Trev was going to go down injured, and I was going to give him some Stella. And every year I carry it on and just have a pint of Stella in one of my bottles.
Dear! And how did 20 react? Did that get him back on his feet, or was he Sparko?
You know what 20's like after half an hour. In fact, he probably played better than he normally does.
Well, he wasn't trying to fight everyone, was he?
But going back to 20, I listened to 20 early. He has done really well as well on his injury journey side. I mean, when he done that, you knew that was bad, but he's done all the right things, and he's been a credit to himself there. So hopefully he'll be back soon.
Yeah, he has, because you and I stood next to each other with Trev when that happened on that night, and that was quite horrific. Really, we thought the worst, didn't we?
Yeah. So he does scream like a girl though when he goes down. He really did.
I've just spent time praising him, and you're killing him.
He was though.
But it would be good to get him back on the pitch, because he's quite annoying in the dugout next to us, isn't he? So we need to get him back out there. He's a bit chirpy, isn't he?
He is. But one other thing from early as well, because I've sat through the 7 hours or whatever you've done so far. You've got to get Nurse's tracksuit. That was a great tracksuit, that, when you talk about workspace. But if you can get a picture of that, get that on the podcast. Yeah,
he's been a bit quiet, Nursey, actually. There's been no messages, a response or whatever. So I thought it was I think the one word you could describe or use to describe it is unique for that tracksuit.
I've never seen nothing like it.
No.
And to be honest, the bloke deserves a lot of credit for trying to put it off. I think he did. So.
As soon as he got home, probably.
I can't believe his missus let him go out in it. But anyway, He's going to
wearing her tracksuit.
But yeah, bless her.
So let's talk about your sort of your match day rituals as well, as apart from the last game of the season, putting Stella into one of the water bowls. One of your parting shots whenever you leave the clubhouse is, I've got to go. I've got a bottle of wine chilling in front of the log fire. So is that true, or does Donna know, or what? I mean, you need to enlighten us.
First of all, she's a lucky lady. A few people have commented that, I see on my tweets. So what people don't realise is the Saturday doesn't start at 3 o'clock for us. So I get out of the club about 1:45, do the kit. Normally get Trev's ball bag all ready for him because he likes to have his balls inflated. So if Trev's ball bag isn't
no wonder he always looks happy.
So his ball bag's ready, and I've got that. I do the kit, so it starts early. So after the game, what I like to do is relax. So you've got to imagine we're under pressure all the time while we're up there. I really take it that seriously. So I like to get home, unwind. I always have a bottle of white chilling. So if anyone wants to buy me wine for Christmas, I only drink white. So bottle of wine. I come back in the winter. I like a nice fire. Then Donna, I'll cook her a nice meal, or we get a takeaway. And because there could be kids watching, I can't say what happens next. So. But it's the best 25 seconds of her life.
Does that include sipping the wine as well?
Oh yeah.
You just sound like an old school romantic there, Lash. It's these youngsters could learn a lot from you, couldn't they?
And I try and teach them. The youngsters that come and ask me for advice with the women, young Kyron and that, I'm there for them. It's not just being there as a coach. It's trying to be a mentor. I think you find all the big clubs have that person that they can go to for advice on things like that.
I think you're right. And you touched on one person there, Kyron, and I know you gave him some sort of some one-to-one help with his relationship.
Yeah, she's finished with him now.
What, because of your advice?
I didn't like her anyway.
But how do you two? I was intrigued. One of the first away trips when you gave him a lift, actually, and it was during that trip that you discovered that, obviously, with you being a Gunner, big Arsenal fan, and then you found out that Kyron was actually a Spurs fan. So how did that unfold? And because Kyron's very quiet, so how did you get that out of him?
I think that's about the only thing he said all the way up there, because he gets in the back of the car. So I told him, first of all, I'll meet him at the garage in Thetford. So, because he lives near there. But it turns out he lives about 8 miles away. But Kyron being Kyron ran it in 3.2 minutes anyway. So I met him there, and he got in, and I didn't realise, because you can have earphones now that are just like pod things or something, they call them. So he's saying I'm talking away. I spent probably about half hour talking to him, realising that he don't say nothing. And then when I turn around, he's got these pods in, so he wasn't even listening. So, but then it turned out, when I found out he was a Tottenham fan, that hurt. But it weren't too long walk back from Galston for him.
He probably ran it
quicker than I could get back.
So you, having been involved at the club for a number of years now, you've seen quite a few characters, I should imagine, as well as the assistant manager. Trev, who's a bit of a character, but any that stick out for any particular reason?
Player-wise, Sharky. Half time when the players used to go in the change rooms, I used to get a burger, and then Shark would go behind and have a smoke. So we'd be behind the changing rooms. He'd be having a smoke, and I'd be having a burger. So that probably weren't the best ones. Manager-wise and assistant manager-wise, actually, I used to like Smithy.
Yeah,
Smithy. When he used to have to tell a player or anything like that, especially Trev, when you tell Trev that he was going to play left back or something, it just used to crack me up, because Trev used to hate it. He used to call about. Other player-wise, we've had some great night out. And when I first got there, I won't say it used to kick off a bit in the nightclubs afterwards. And that's why now at 10:30, I get a lift. I leave at 10:30 because I've learned that with these players, 10:30 is the threshold. 11 o'clock is when I don't need to be with them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you reach that point. In fact, the recent restrictions of going to pubs with the 10 o'clock closure is, as I don't know about you, but that's quite nice actually, because I'd be asleep a little while after that anyway. So it suited me down to the ground.
Well, I was going to say 10 o'clock's late anyway for me. So, lockdowns meant nothing. So. But I was thinking as well, actually, if Tats can't do these podcasts, I'll let you have the first name, Trev and Lashy. I'm just thinking. But,
that could work. I'll tell you what, I'll get your people to talk to my people, and we'll leave him out of it.
Well, I'm just saying, because I've got to do match of the day after this, but apart from that, I'm free most of the time.
So, just lastly then, as I say, you've been at the club a number of years. It's been quite exciting so far this season, although it's all been a bit strange and a bit bizarre. What are your sort of personal ambitions for the club if we do get back playing regularly?
So, first and foremost for me, it's always been my little goalkeepers. I've been lucky enough to work with Duncan McAnally, who was a superb goalkeeper. Yeah. Brandy.
Yep.
I thought excellent goalkeeper as well, and will be. We've got young Dan, who I think will be an excellent keeper. Yep. And at the moment, we've got Fenner. We've had Tom. We've had some really great goalkeepers, and trying to improve them for me is the first thing. For me personally,
Barry as well. You've done a great job.
Barry, who unfortunately, when he picked his injury up, I thought was playing absolutely superb. But unfortunately, he picked up that injury. Yeah. So that's where we go. And if I've missed a keeper out, I do apologise. But I really have worked with some good ones. Yeah. As a club, this season, I think bringing them youth through. I mean, we spoke at the beginning of the season, and that it's a brave gamble because it can go one or two ways. It can make you look really silly. And you took that gamble as the gaffer, and it's paid off. And young Kieran banging the goals in. Jamie not looking happy is banging the goals in. But even Jamie's doing it. And you look round the park, and I've given Nursey some stick on it in his pink tracksuit. But it's that blend of I say older. What's Nursey now? Nursey's got to be 35, 36. But he's come back in it, and he's played superb. And I know you can't speak about him, but I think your boy's been fantastic in there. You spoke earlier about Ian, and this season has been chalk and cheese for last season. As much as that hurts me, he's been really good. But all round, and I think just developing that team and getting the players to play the way you want them to play, the club playing the way you want to play, and the spectators coming and saying, win, lose or draw, we've played great football. Yeah. And you sit there and you be part of that, and that's what it's about for me. And it's good because, I mean, Trev touched on it earlier. I like to listen to your 3.5-hour speeches before the game, and then we only get a 15-minute break at half time. It feels like an hour, and then after the game, when we want to get to the bar, it don't matter if we don't get there till 6. I mean, that's the only problem with 10 o'clock finish. Sometimes your team talk after the game don't finish. But
I think I'll just record a message now and just play it. Make sure it's 60 seconds and that's it.
No, and that's why at Whitton I had to stand naked behind you. I apologise, but there's only so long I can wait.
I must admit, I've been involved in non-league football a long time, and that's the first time I've done a speech or a chat after the game to the players, and I was totally unaware that the physio was standing behind me, stark bollock naked. And how the players.
In my defence, it was cold that night. That was a cold night.
And I still can't believe that none of the players just burst out laughing. How they kept a straight face, I don't know, because, well, firstly, when I spun round, my first question was, how fucking long have you been standing there?
I was going to say, how long was I? I was going to say, thanks, very kind of you, that one.
As you say, it was a cold night.
Alfie, can you edit that bit? All you get is how long.
But no, just touching on what you said there, you're absolutely right. I think the reason that the club is kicking on is because it's got a lot of people like yourself who've been there a long time, who care an awful lot about the club. And it's kind of exciting that we've got these youngsters that are buying into everything. So it's really good. So hopefully we'll kick on with the big game next Saturday. The FA Vars. Let's make a bit of history for the club. It'll be the furthest that the club's ever been, so that would be nice. But let's not make. If we do win next Saturday, let's not be content with just making history. For the next round, let's go even further. So, and there's no reason why we can't. But last year's been an. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Don't forget, if we're going down, could be a quiz. One great prize as well.
I'd be very disappointed if there wasn't a quiz and some songs, and that would please Sam Peters. The skipper will be happy if you'll be bringing a catalogue of songs.
And if we don't win, then Mike Powers is going to be putting a big trophy cabinet on eBay. See, I really
very good point.
8 hours of it.
Very good point. Lashy, it's been a pleasure having you on, as always. And great to see you. I look forward to seeing you in a few days' time, and we can crack on and go again.
All right, and don't forget Trev and Lashy show.
It's got a ring to it. Yeah, it's got a ring to it. You take care.
See you in a bit.
Take care, mate.